What's up, guys? Chris here with what I'm calling better than average fitness. Not trying to be a professional athlete, not trying to be a bodybuilder, not trying to be a cover model, just trying to be that little bit better than yourself than you already are. Just want to be better than average. And I'm going to make this video real quick. Ignore the rain going on in the background. It's kind of a crap day out, and I just finished up a gym session that wasn't feeling too great, but I don't know, maybe the weather has something to do with that. But I was watching a video of people talking about different foods and that they were buying, and it got me thinking about this. That's kind of driving me nuts, and it drives me nuts a lot. So I wanted to get on this topic, um, and that's that there's no sugar in something. There's no sugar in this item. There's no sugar in here. Um, when something says no sugar added, that's acceptable. But when something says there's no sugar and it uses something like coconut nectar or honey or whatever, that's sugar, guys. It's sugar. Sugar is sugar. That's what it boils down to. I know there's difference between processed sugar and organic sugar, and actually, there's a lot of argument about whether or not those affect your body differently. But the thing is, artificial sweeteners are not sugar. Stevia is not sugar. They're different substances. They don't digest the same in the body. They don't impact your glucose levels. I'm not saying whether or not you should use either of those things. I'm just saying they're not sugar. But if you're talking about eating an apple and there's no sugar in an apple, no, there is. There's sugar in that. It's sugar. And your body uses the fiber that's in that apple to help digest the sugar. And that's what makes fruit better for you than eating something like candy or raw sugar, whatever, is because your body does not process sugar properly as energy unless you're in a caloric deficit or unless it's consumed alongside fiber. When you just consume sugar, it has to be turned into fat to be, stored and then processed later by your body. That's just how the things work. And it doesn't matter where the sugar comes from. So if you're taking in honey and you're not in a caloric deficit and you haven't, consumed alongside with fiber, which actually I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know for certain that adding fiber along with the sugar that you're consuming helps the same way that like the natural fibers of a fruit peel help with that sugar. But regardless, if you just consume honey, you're still taking sugar into your body. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I'm not saying that honey can't be beneficial. But all these different health foods out here running around talking about, oh, this has no sugar in it. We use this to sweeten it. This has no sugar in it. We put coconut nectar in it. We put honey in it. It doesn't matter, guys. Sugar is sugar. So just think about that. I'm not saying you have to steer away from it. Arguably sugar is, I'm not even gonna say arguably, sugar is the worst thing to put in your body. I'm not saying that you can't use it. It can't be used as a source of energy, especially if you're in a caloric deficit. A lot of runners take in heavy sugary carbohydrates. But what I am saying is that compared to other food, sugar is the worst thing that you put in your body, and an overabundance of sugar is straight up poison to your body. So think about that. I mean, there's a reason that when you're on heavy, strict diets, they tell you to steer clear of things like bananas because there's not a lot of fiber in a banana and it's just a lot of sugar. So think about that, guys. Realize, think about that with any food. Realize what's in the food and is it really different than from one thing to another. Realize that just because, something is has fat in it doesn't mean that it's, bad fat or good fat. You have to look at, like an avocado versus like bacon, different kinds of fat, things like that. There are differences between those things. There are different types of carbs that you can take in. There are slow digesting carbs, fast digesting carbs. So, think about those things when you're eating, when you're choosing your foods. But really, the main thing I'm looking at here is the sugar issue because that's just what's gotten on my nerves today. It's been driving me nuts. I think about it all the time. People bring it up. People act like they're eating so healthy when they're taking in, massive quantities of fruit and things like that. It it is sugar, guys. That's just what it boils down to. And your body can only handle so much of it, and there are better and worse ways to take it in. So think about that, guys. Keep it with you. Hope it helps you out, and hope it keeps you pushing forward to your goals.